Imagine a world without chocolate or cake, just raw honey dripping from wild hives. Sweetness, once rare, sparked humanity's creativity and led to innovation of desserts. But when did that actually happen? What was the first dessert? Today we will explore 3 contenders for this title, starting with the youngest and moving back in time. Our first contender takes us to ancient India, where sugarcane revolutionized sweetness. Before sugar, desserts relied on honey or fruits. But the cultivation of sugarcane brought a new kind of indulgence. Boiling its juice created jaggery, a rich caramel-like sweetener that became the foundation of Indian sweets. With jaggery in hand, ancient cooks turned simple ingredients into delightful creations. Picture halwa, a sticky, nutty dessert made by mixing jaggery with grains and milk, or laddoos, golden balls of sweetness shaped by hand. These weren't just treats, they were symbols of celebration. From weddings to religious festivals, sweets were central to Indian culture, representing prosperity and joy. Religious rituals also embraced these creations. Temples offered sweets as sacred offerings to gods, believing they brought blessings and abundance. Even today, festivals like Diwali continue this tradition, with homes filled with aroma of sugar and spices, echoing the ancient past. Indian sugar sweets didn't just impact local traditions, they influenced the world. Indian traders introduced sugar and crystallization techniques to the Middle East and beyond. These innovations laid the groundwork for desserts in far-off land, transforming how sweetness was experienced globally. Yet for all their significance, these sugar-based confections came relatively late in the history of desserts. Jaggery and sugarcane cultivation emerged thousands of years after earlier civilizations had already begun experimenting with natural sweetness. The first desserts likely relied on simple ingredients and techniques, long before sugar entered the picture. But to find the earliest dessert, we must travel even further back, to a time when people didn't grow sugarcane or bake with grain, when the only sweetener came directly from nature itself. Our next contender takes us to ancient Egypt, where desserts weren't just food, they were offerings to the gods and symbols of prosperity. The Egyptians had no sugar, but they don't need it. Instead, they turned to honey, a natural sweetener so prized it was called the nectar of the gods. Combined with fruits like dates and figs, honey became the backbone of some of the earliest desserts. Imagine an ancient Egyptian kitchen. A servant grinds flour on a stone quern, while another crushes ripe dates into a sticky, fragrant paste. Honey drips slowly into the mixture, creating a sweet, rich filling. The dough is shaped into small pastries and baked in clay ovens. The air was filled with the scent of freshly baked bread. These date-filled pastries were not an everyday fare. They were reserved for the special occasions and the most important rituals. In temples, priests offered them to gods as a part of elaborate ceremonies, believing sweets could please the divine. In royal households, they graced the tables of pharaohs, who dined on the finest foods their empire could offer. But desserts in Egypt weren't just for royalty and religion. Tomb inscriptions reveal that even common people enjoyed simple versions of these treats, made with basic ingredients like honey, dates, and wheat. Food was so central to Egyptian life that it often accompanied the dead into an afterlife. Archaeologists have found preserved honey jars and depiction of pastries in the tombs, offering a window into how sweets connected life and eternity. While Egyptian date pastries hold deep cultural significance, they may not be world's first dessert. Their reliance on cultivated crops and baking techniques show they came later in the history of sweets. Earlier civilization made simpler desserts using the natural gifts of earth, nothing more than honey, grains, or nuts. To find the true origin of desserts, we need to go even further back. Before sugarcane and complex pastries, human combined creativity with nature's raw sweetness. It's here, in ancient Mesopotamia, that we uncover a strong contender for the world's first dessert. The ancient Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, where humanity first began shaping the natural world to meet its desires. Among the fertile rivers and bustling cities, we find what might be the world's first prepared dessert, honey cakes. Imagine an early Mesopotamian kitchen. A clay oven radiates heat, its glowing embers casting a warm light as a cook carefully combines flour with thick golden honey. The sticky dough clings to their hands as they knead it patiently. Crushed nuts and seeds are added next, each handful bringing more texture and flavor. The mixture is dense and fragrant, filling the air with sweet, nutty aroma. The cook then shapes the dough into a simple round cakes, placing them gently onto flat baking stones. As the cakes bake, their surfaces turn golden, glistening under a glaze of warm honey poured over them. The result is a treat that's both simple and satisfying, a dessert born from basic ingredients and careful hands. But these cakes were more than a tasty snack. In Mesopotamian culture, honey was sacred, linked to the gods and the promise of immortality. Honey cakes were offerings in religious ceremonies, placed on altars as gifts to divine beings in exchange for blessings or prosperity and protection. They also adorned the feasting tables of the kings, symbols of wealth and abundance of the land. Unlike the more elaborate sugar sweets of India or the layered pastries of Egypt, Mesopotamian honey cakes were simple. They reflected the ingenuity of their time, transforming basic, natural ingredients into something meaningful. Archaeological evidence shows their importance, with ancient recipes and baking scenes etched into clay tablets. From the ovens of Mesopotamia, a legacy began, echoing in every dessert we enjoy today. The story of desserts began with simple creations like Mesopotamian honey cakes, but it did not stop there. Over millennia, desserts evolved into a rich tapestry of flavors and traditions, adapting to cultural innovations and new ingredients. Yet at their core, desserts remain tied to one universal truth: they bring joy. Sweetness triggers a primal pleasure in the brain, making desserts a universal symbol of indulgence and celebration. As civilization advanced, so did their confections. Ancient Egyptians perfected honey-filled pastries. laying the groundwork for flaky pies and modern baking techniques. Indian innovations like halwa and laddoos transformed sugar into art, while Middle Eastern baklava turned simple layers of pastry, nuts and honey into something timeless. Today, desserts are more elaborate than ancient bakers could have dreamed, yet their essence hasn't changed. They remain central to celebrations: Diwali, Christmas, Eid, where sweets connect people across cultures and generations. Modern chefs are even reviving ancient recipes, linking the flavors of the past with today's culinary creativity. From honey cakes to modern confections, desserts tell a story of humanity's ingenuity and shared love for the sweet things in life. Thank you for joining us on this sweet journey through history. Which of these ancient desserts would you want to try? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. It helps more than you know. Until next time, stay curious.